Brown,
Jim Pierce,
Kenny Berry.
Scott Barnes.
We do have a quorum. Let me go get it. Did anyone sign in that wanted to speak and didn't check the box? Okay.
Or I didn't sign in.
Oh, I'm gonna add you to the agenda.
Okay, then I'm good.
Okay.
You should probably have her sign in.
I'll pass it back to sign. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anybody that wanted to speak that hadn't signed. So I'll just send that back their way. And there's a pen over there.
This gentleman has a pen right?
Okay. Perfect. Okay, is there anything that the board would like to pull from the consent agenda for further discussion? And if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second. Okay, I have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Scott?
Yes.
Kenny? Yes. Tim?
Yes.
I vote yes. David?
Yes.
Colleen?
Yes.
Joseph?
Yes.
Motion carried. Okay, we're right into new business here,
So I'd like to add something to the agenda.
okay,
Add Weston Family Link funding, nonprofit donation to the agenda.
okay.
We want to add the fishing thing,
And we wanna add the fishing thing?
if you don't
It
mind.
was
Let's
in
add fishing.
the fishing,
It's got
Down in there.
one.
We can talk about that when we
Fish.
get to it.
Don't be.
do you want should we do the family link first, are you sure? Go ahead.
Oh, yes, I'm very good at winging it.
That's good. Do you mind stating your name and
I
address
will.
for the record, thank you.
So my name is Barbara Edwards. My address is 27643 BB Road. I am the Family Development Director at the West End Family Link. And we discovered within the last, we'll say 2 months, and this is the reason why I'm here, that we had a couple of grants that did not get applied for in a timely manner during our transition, and it has left us a little shy on funding. So like when we come to the link and ask for help, I am coming to the town of Newcliff to beg for help. I know that you have a little bit of emergency funding stash, and I have come to ask for that for the link.
Is there an amount?
This would be the, nonprofit, that we, designate 7,000 of the 50 that we get from the county. We have 2,000 left.
You have that number you're looking for?
Well, if you want to know the number of the grant that we lost for the next 2 years, is 130,000, I think.
2 years.
But that's 130,000 this year, 130,000 next year, and possibly for the following 2 years.
So you only applied for, it would have been applied for now, it won't get applied again for,
2 years.
oh my, so you lost 260,000.
I did.
So is this a grant you've been normally getting, or is
Yes.
it just something that?
No, it's the normal grant, this is our operating fund. This is what keeps the lights on, keeps us paid. Not that I wouldn't do it as a volunteer, because I would, because I care, but it's everything. It pays our water. You know, we have
Which
grants
grant
for
is it?
food. We do have Dino Sheriff, who is out searching hand over fist for grants to help us recover. We just need this as kind of a temporary fix.
Which specific grant is it?
I'm sorry?
Which specific grant is it?
It is a CDEC grant. And they allow you to apply once every 2 years.
It's one grant.
It is. And it has 2 different portions to it, which amount to the 130,000.
I don't have any problem giving the money we have left. In fact, I'd like to probably see if we have any other resources in our budget that would be helpful for them.
She just came this morning, so I haven't had a chance to look for any other funding options.
So you talked to the county at all?
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to look at my board to know.
Their hands are tied right now with the new board coming in from the past board.
Their budget's already been allocated, so.
So it's been kind of a tough pill to swallow, to be honest with you, to know that that was not done.
So I got an email from you today at the chamber, and I haven't had a chance to reply to you, but, I'm gonna connect you with another grant source tomorrow too. I don't know if
Okay.
it'll help, but we'll try.
Okay.
That would be CHAPA.
I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate any and all help at this point.
They do.
Gola.
I don't know if they're gonna
I don't know if they have any money, you know, the
Patrick said-
state reallocated all their money for their programs.
Patrick said they didn't have any money when he was here the other day, and, I mean, not personally, but in general. And, yeah, like Tim said.
It's the real house, no.
What's that?
You said we have 2,000 left?
We have 2,000 out of the 7. We've already given away 5.
So when's that GoFundMe page gonna go up?
You know, if you go to our website, there is a donate page on our website, available
I
at
can't
any
do it.
opportunity.
Sorry.
Available at any time.
Too much check. I don't even have checks.
Most people don't anymore, but I've taught a check writing class.
Any thoughts?
No, I would, make a motion that we donate the remaining 2,000 to Family Link.
I'll second it.
You have a motion and a second to approve the remaining $2,000 from the nonprofit line item for West End Family Link. Lean,
Yes.
David,
Yes.
Joseph?
I've recused myself.
Oh, okay. I vote yes.
Yes.
I vote yes.
Yes.
Okay, motion carried. And then if we could have just a little bit of time, we'll see if there's, what are the rest of our budget's gonna look like, okay?
Thank you so very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
So the next item is to set up a date and time for our public meetings for water and sewer line projects. Do you have any particular dates in mind?
No, we just need to look at everybody's calendar. We'll flow one right after the other. We'll have the water first and then the sewer right after.
Okay.
Same day, you mean?
Yeah, same evening, yeah. So we just need to get a few free dates for you in July.
In July.
Probably in July.
And what's the time, what time do we set for those per meeting, per hearing, I should say?
Well, it depends on,
The length of time?
Yeah, so 2 hours, I think an hour each would be plenty.
Okay,
If we overrun, it should be an evening meeting, I guess.
We couldn't do both at the same time.
Yeah.
one after another,
Put
she
all our
said.
suffering in one bucket.
This is the requirement
She's so
to get
positive.
a USDA grant
You're welcome.
and any other funding.
So what we,
Which week, I have the week of the 23rd to the 27th, and I don't have a lot going, other weeks are more difficult for me, but not off the table.
I'm gone the 25th.
The regular meeting then? Oh, you're gone?
I'm gonna be gone.
Okay, so she's gone already.
No, in July, that's the regular meeting would be the 23rd.
23rd is the
Oh,
regular meeting.
July,
after
I'm
Yeah,
that.
in July.
2 weeks from now.
I can't do any evening meetings in the rest, until the 23rd, so we could probably have it the rest, the last week in July, in June, except our board meeting's on the 25th. So that's why I kind of thought, July would be a good time.
Better in June.
24th?
Of July?
Are you gone on the 25th or
Just
for
the 25th.
just the 25th? 24th is a Thursday, so,
Or we could have it the week
I have-
before where we
well,
don't have a board meeting?
My
Yeah,
WEDSA
the
meeting
14th
is
or the 18th?
that afternoon, I should be fine.
the week before is the fair week, does that affect any of you all?
I'm good for
I thought fair was the 21st.
the 24th.
I have on here the 11th through the 19th. for Basin Fair.
Because
So
I thought we
The
just.
fair,
When they go to the
I'll miss the fair.
fair, when they're here.
rodeo is next week.
I'll be
So
gone
plan
for
on
that.
going. Rodeo's first.
What do you next, the following week is the rodeo? Oh, they split it into 2 different weeks.
What time that evening are we thinking?
Let's say 6.
And what date again?
24th?
July 24th.
Well, Melissa was just asking if maybe we do it the week before, if it doesn't conflict, just so we're not back-to-back meetings with our regular meeting and then a hearing.
I'll go to back, but otherwise I got too much shot.
So you can show
That's fine.
it. Still in July.
It's up to you guys.
I don't have
I'm
a
going for
preference.
fair. That's all I know.
You're
July
going to-
I
twenty-fourth
got
at
pigs
6
and
p.m., does
steers.
that sound all right?
So we don't wanna schedule it that week.
Yeah.
So July twenty-fourth at
That's
6
good.
p.m.
Okay, public meeting. 6
Everybody
p.m.
good with that?
Yeah.
Does that work for you?
Joseph saying,
He said yes. He's
Speak
whispering,
up.
he's whispering over here, he said yes.
Maybe it's
Alright.
having too much fun picking on Joseph with him not being here.
The next item on the, are you guys ready? Right, yeah. Okay.
Paula?
Yes.
Is that gonna be at the community center or?
Yeah, it'll be at the community center.
24th at 6 p.m. community center.
Okay, the next item is review request for the mayor, any family member, and the town manager to recuse themselves by Ms. Johnson. And so this discussion, I'm gonna turn over to Mayor Pro Tem Pierce, and I'm going to excuse myself for this discussion.
thanks much.
You're welcome.
Well, does anybody have any comment on it? Because my comment is I haven't seen any.
I just excuse myself too, I'm family.
There's something on that board. I haven't seen any conflict of interest.
They're related. They're sisters,
so
and the mayor
So
can't
are
vote.
we.
But you're not in a mayor position, you're not in, you both have equal votes, you can cancel each other out.
Their votes are just as equal
Mayor
as
has
ours.
a voting right in the town of Nicola. It was
Okay,
passed
either
by
way, she's a
ordinance
sister,
many years
and she's
ago.
related to the mayor. And when the question is whether things were followed accordingly, all the laws, and whether you were transparent or not, having more to add to the fire doesn't seem like it's a great, I mean, you guys are walking into all kinds of stuff though, so I totally anticipated you guys declining to recuse her, which is fine. But it's just amazing, the moves you guys are making.
If I could see a reason to do that, I would be all for it, but I don't see a reason to do that, so. Perception is not necessarily reality.
Well, that's the thing, is we can't really get to reality because I haven't been able to get any of the reports, but we're at the point now where we're filing an injunction legally, crowdfunded by the town while you guys use taxpayer money to fight the injunction. We'll be paying for it to fight you guys on it. Like, and all of this stuff doesn't look good. Like, I feel like that's the part that's missing here, is you guys are building a case against yourself by over and over and over refusing to do what's required by law for you to do. But it's all public. None of this is like, the attorneys can figure it out.
I guess if that's the direction you wanna go, that's the direction you wanna go.
Joseph said something.
Joseph?
We can't hear Joseph at all.
Scream, Joseph.
It's as loud as it can be. It's as loud as it goes.
I think that Johnson's trying to go down a different path than why we would recuse the mayor. I think we just need to stay on the topic of recusal of our mayor and of our board members. And I think if you look at, the last couple of years that I was attending these meetings, I've seen them vote against each other several times. So I don't see any collusion going on, which would be the only reason why.
It's only in regards to this tower. It's not in general business. I'm just asking for this one particular.
I don't see any reason to.
I'm in agreement, I don't think there's any reason to recuse. Unless, like I said, we have to, cause we all have equal voting power.
I don't see any reason either. They were all voted in by the people of the town, so.
Well, I haven't seen them in lockstep on anything, so. is that they're talking to each other constantly, and deciding how they're gonna both vote the same issue on the same thing, and vote the same way, so even if it was, quite frankly, what are they doing that's would require them to recuse themselves? What
Well, the
conflict
question is what kind of
interest
deals were made on the back end before this got pushed through, and that's what's being investigated here. We tried to recuse Miss Lampshire too, because she in particular was the one who was handling all the paperwork, so
Okay,
having her
I'll be
be
clear.
responsible.
I'll be clear on the town's position, there were no back-end deals, there were no deals in the background, there was nothing. So the fact that you want to push that is your right.
Well,
if
you haven't
wish
given
to
me
do
any
that.
reason to think otherwise. There's been no
Claim your
information saying otherwise.
reason. Claim, I just told you. So if you don't.
So, okay, I
believe
should
me,
just
you
trust
can-
your word.
Well, there's nothing in the record that's gonna,
That's the problem though, there's nothing in record, right? You guys didn't do the meeting before you moved it. So under Colorado law, you can't just do that. Your contract is null. And we'll fight it in court if we have to, but that's the part that I'm like, have you talked to the attorney at all?
We're just talking about the recusal of the mayor right now, and do we have to put this to a vote or anything, or is this just?
no,
No, we can move on along.
I think if all the board members are in agreement, then I don't think that there's anything further to discuss on that. And when we, if Ms. Johnson wants to stand up and give her 3 minutes about what she feels has been going on, I think somewhere in the meeting, we're allowed to do that, you're allowed to do that. But the back and forth conversation that's happening right now is not going to be productive for anybody.
Well, they were asking why I requested a recusal and I'm trying to.
Process, and everybody needs to adhere to that.
I completely get that, but if my reasons for the recusal have to do with another topic, that topic's going to get brought up.
Okay, well, right now, we have to be talking about the recusal, and none of the board members agree. So I think that one is done.
Can I ask, just,
Is there a mayor back there?
can I ask?
I don't wanna get into a big long discussion on this because quite frankly, none of the board is in agreement on it.
Yep, we don't need to. A lot of what I'm doing is formalities.
Did we go outside?
Melissa, they went
Did they
that
go
way.
this way?
Mhm.
So the board agreed that there will be no recusal, board members present, will still constitute that matter, not to be able to vote on it, so.
Okay, so we're ready to move forward? Okay, approved TOP application requesting an extension for John Reed.
Yeah, I have it right here, I'd like to look at it.
You gonna speak for yourself, John?
3 months goes by quick.
It does.
So it's that time again that need to ask for an extension on my living arrangements for extension on the temporary permit on it. Are having town-led meetings now and running a lot smoother, actually making progress. This last meeting we had was nice, actually, type thing. But, yeah, my 3 months is up, so I need to request another 3 months or longer if we want to make it until the town determines what they'd like to do.
What's their timeline on approving the ordinance for
I've got it in your packet, it was in your
There's a first draft.
packet with draft
That's
changes,
some
so.
very minor stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very minor, it doesn't really affect anything, so.
So
but,
we just would pass the ordinance, takes 30 days from the first publication for it to go into effect.
3 months should be good. I think we're on the cusp of a cup. So,
Play on words there.
Funny fella. Make a motion to approve another 90 days for John Reed for his temporary occupancy permit.
I second
Okay, I have a motion and a second to extend John Reed's 3 months temporary occupancy permit.
Yes.
Scott, Kenny,
Yes,
Kim,
Yes.
I vote yes.
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 Joseph,
Yes.
motion carried. Thanks,
Thank you.
John, and thanks for attending the meetings,
You bet.
appreciate it. So do we need to ratify this and then,
Well, but they couldn't make it, so it's kind of null and void, we can just
Okay.
remove it from the agenda.
Are we waiting for them to throw some dates at us still?
so just an update on the vertical bridge conversation. So they did get back with us and they had thrown out a date of tomorrow. First it was 2 o'clock, then it was 3 o'clock to have a meeting. And then this morning, they don't have all their ducks in a row to get everybody together. So now the ball's in their court again to give us some dates for next week. And what the board decided, in an email agreeing to the meeting for tomorrow that is not happening, is that we would just have a regular meeting like this so the public can come in and hear. It's gonna be a phone call, I think, most likely, like a conference call.
Maybe we can get it to be Zoom.
Okay,
but
so
we'll see.
we don't know that yet, so that everybody can be present. This is our first opportunity to ask the questions that came out of our public meeting that we had as far as possible location change, buyout of contract possibilities. I can't list them all because I can't remember them unfortunately, but all of the things that kind of come out of that meeting, this is our opportunity to ask those questions to see what we have or what we can do. So I would say if there's any particular questions you guys wanna make sure that the board has in front of them during this conversation, to email those to the board. There won't be a public comment on this meeting. It's more of a business meeting that we're holding, obviously in the public. We want everybody to be here to hear what they have to say as well. One of the questions that we have on the list is to ask them if they would come and hold a public meeting here and answer the community's questions that they have about the tower and 5G. So that will be the opportunity, hopefully, that we can nail down to get them here to have that conversation. Community questions can be asked then. So, because we don't have a date and because this has all been kind of happening on the fly, please stay tuned because it's probably gonna happen quick is my guess.
How will you get the word out on that?
We can put a post on Facebook and of course get flyers up on it as soon as we know. I mean, we need to post 24 hours, so they're gonna have to give us enough time that we can post so we can have a public meeting. And
So,
that's,
and will you post that online on your website?
we can put it on the website too, yeah.
And
All
then on
meetings
the
are now
bullet,
being posted on the website.
right, yeah,
And
and on the
agendas.
bulletin board?
Always.
And we'll
And
throw one
anywhere
up,
else?
we'll throw it up
We-
on Facebook too,
Yeah,
just because this is gonna be a pretty short,
Social media.
it's gonna be a pretty short notice, I have a feeling, so we'll try to post it there too, so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So that's why we struck that off of the agenda to ratify that email vote to have a meeting tomorrow, because clearly we can't have it, we can't post it far enough in advance to have it if they could, so. The next one is to approve Element Engineering's proposal of $13,500 to assist with our DSB, which is for the wastewater system.
Correct. We asked Westwater and they were unable to get a price or a time at this time.
And those are the two things we use.
And the Element's the one that did our, assessment of the water and wastewater facilities.
Oh, we only have one estimate.
Westwater refused to give an estimate and,
Element.
The only other one modified was an SG.
but we are at a pretty big deadline and when I've asked them before,
So where is the deadline?
so the deadline, it's not up until next year, but they have a meeting where they review everybody in June on the 30th. And so Nick thought they could meet that deadline. It's just regarding the MBBR, which, I can't remember what that stands for. It's something that was proposed in the initial one along with the cover, but since we're meeting all requirements,
Biological reactor,
yeah.
that was to add it to the system.
Right, exactly, the MBBR, if we needed it,
Right.
so. That's
So
what
we
that,
need those required before the end of the month.
Mhm.
The DSB is discharger specific variants for ammonia limits. So we got a special discharge limit from the state on ammonia, and it has to be reviewed periodically, so. And the permit changed accordingly for our wastewater plant.
Is this the same one we got a fine over previous for? The discharge?
That was for not
That-
submitting the DMR, the discharge monitoring reports.
Okay.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Yes.
Joseph? I vote yes. Tim?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Scott? Motion carried. Okay, so the next one is looking for approval to purchase some new picnic tables for the pavilion. There's two choices there, either 6 8-foot tables or 8 6-foot tables.
We have one table that's not been broken and destroyed by,
Are these metal ones or are they concrete?
these are the same type that is there with the
Under the
thermoplastic
pavilion.
coating and the expanded metal.
So there is different levels of those,
It's commercial grade.
okay, because those other ones,
This is from Global Industries.
they were terrorized.
Well, I mean, when people jump on them and when
Run
people
their
try and
tables.
ruin their taxpayer funded stuff.
I don't think we want concrete ones, Scott, there because they move them around for different functions
Events.
there, so. Yeah, cause I think we might have discussed that a while back. Does anyone have a preference there? I would say 8 6-foot ones, or, well, I don't know, maybe the longer ones are heavier, maybe they can get,
Well, these also have a place where you can bolt them to the concrete, which might, I mean, I don't think we had a problem with people stealing them, just jumping on them and breaking them. And I think if people wanna move them around, then you don't want to bolt them down.
Mhm.
The one that's down there, it's still down there, it's banana shaped.
But yeah, I know.
So 6 8-foot,
What height are the ones that are down there now?
I think they are 8 foot, weren't they? Yeah.
And there's 6 of them.
I don't know if they break either, might banana easier.
The 8-footers would be more prone to
Right.
damage, but, so the 6 8-footers fit in, or 8 6
Yeah, that's, yeah.
just fine.
Shelley measured it and looked at what it was in there and
I
kind
go
of.
8 6-footers, cause,
Try that.
8 6-footers.
Yeah. Is everybody good with them?
you know,
Do you have a motion?
I'll make a motion to purchase 8 6-foot long picnic tables for the pavilion for a total of 6615.60.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the purchase of 8 6-foot picnic tables in the amount of $6,615.60. Scott?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Tim?
Yes.
I vote yes. Joseph?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Aline?
Yes.
Motion carried. Next item is to review our audit from the auditors.
Questions I can answer, or we can always have an email or kind of thing. It's pretty standard.
I looked over it, I didn't have any questions, but
Okay.
anyone else? I guess even if you do have some after the meeting,
Yeah.
just let Melissa know. And she'll either answer them or she'll get the auditors to answer. Joseph, did you have anything?
No, I mean, I liked the analysis was very clean, so that's what we're looking for in the audit. I have a couple of little questions that I can just email you, Melissa, just about numbers that are over and under the budget.
Okay,
Last
yeah.
year.
Happy to answer them.
Okay, so, the next item is to review the CUP changes from the June 2nd meeting.
So the TOP is defined separately, right, in the regular this is not the complete definition of what a temporary occupancy permit is, that's also.
It's
defined
defined
under zoning.
elsewhere, yes.
Yes. So maybe cite that section.
Okay.
Where you have the TOP.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna say gas generators are prohibited, I would say they can't be the principal source of electrical power, cause having a backup generator, I don't really have a big problem with, as long as it's only a backup generator.
Okay.
But their neighbors might have a problem with that.
They might.
Did you write that on your
They
paper?
can't stop me from having a backup generator.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
You
did.
can just give that
You
to
can
me.
read my stuff.
Otherwise, I did make it editable version, you know, if you wanted to go
I will.
online
And
and
I'll
edit
do
it
that.
online, that would work
I
too.
will let me edit.
I do that,
It wouldn't?
I did not have a computer that would allow me to do that. so-
Well, it says I have to request access, which,
That was what mine said.
Okay.
which I have done that before, but I couldn't add anything to it.
I thought I made it a shareable, editable document. I'll give you all access again.
Okay. Does anyone else have anything they wanted to add now, or do you wanna just add yours to the document once she?
We can just add it to the document.
It seems like everything we discussed, though, she's added pretty much from the meeting, so. Once we give this another run through, then probably I think it would be a good idea to hold another meeting and we'll go through this draft version with the edits, if everybody's agreeable to that. Yeah. Okay, alright. Let's see. So the fishing document was next that was added to the agenda.
So, there's still stuff I would prefer to change. In my opinion, this has gotta go before Mustang Water Board also, since they're the operator. So I'll make my comments for that version that goes to Mustang Water Board, and then it can come back to here for the town's approval, because I think the town has to approve it after Mustang looks at it.
I have a few notes on mine too from the revisions here. Let me see what my notes mean, of course. I think in the section there that's, under the minor children, and it says, you know, the required permit. I almost need to clarify between the permit, which is this fishing access permit, and then the next line is for a fishing license or permit through CPW. So I just wanna make sure there's a clarification between if we're talking about the fishing license or the permit for access. So it might just need to have the word access permit or reservoir access permit or whatever, just to make sure it's clear which thing we're talking about in those two
I think
paragraphs.
this is for the children under 12 are not required to have this permit. I don't know what the fishing
This one up
laws
here where
are.
it says 18, 13 and 18 are required to have a permit. I just think it needs to say, because people use that terminology for a fishing license sometimes too, that maybe it should just say access permit. Or something of that nature, just to be clear. I think the fishing license portion of it's all right. Let's see here. Also under here where it's things that are not prohibited, you know, drinking alcohol, I think drugs, of course, shouldn't be allowed either, you know, those are kinda hand in hand. And I'm kinda still feeling like it would be really helpful to set the days, you know, to say if it's gonna be open for fishing out there, is it Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you know, and then you pick up a permit for 14 days or whatever
Well,
it
I
is.
had 7 days listed up top.
Yeah, but
And then
that was
somebody-
like all the time, you know, and I think that monitoring that, I mean, that's the kind of the problem here is we have volunteers potentially that involve, but
They're not
7 days,
available all the time.
7 days a week, I mean,
I-
I'd rather start off with a limited number of days and see how that's working out instead of opening it all at once and then immediately have to do restrictions on it again, which is not gonna make people happy.
Do 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And shut it down on weekends.
There's usually somebody out for Mustang on Saturday, so, and I know these people aren't gonna be able to get out there during the week all the time. They may only be able to get out there on the weekend, so I don't mind Saturday. questionable because I have limited staff availability, and obviously designating town people to do something is really not that desirable, you know, doing, especially the overtime work. So, I don't mind Saturday.
Do we wanna limit did we limit the hours to, what hour
It said
access?
dawn to dusk or something.
Unfortunately, fishing is kind of a dawn to dusk thing, otherwise you pretty much lose some of the best fishing.
Right.
Did we talk about the capacity at one time, you know, the number of either permits or the number of people at the reservoir at one time?
That's why a select number of permits would be issued each week, so
I
you
just
have to
wondered-
come in on Monday to get a license for Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday of that week or something, and then when there's five, whatever the number you guys decide on. That's the, you know.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Then we leave it open and see how it goes first before we put a limit on it.
It's easier to extend the number of days than it is to restrict it again. You know,
One person that comes in with a permit, he's not letting town go out there. That's what I'm saying.
Well, but he can only take his children
Yeah, I was
with
gonna
that
say that.
permit.
Yeah.
You know, he can't take
you're
the
right.
whole
Yeah,
town with
people
that
are.
permit.
it kind of defines what the permit is.
And all the
Covers,
people's
yeah.
names that he would be bringing, which is minor children, would be listed on the permit. Maybe he has 50 kids.
So this is just, I'm gonna throw this out there, but I was thinking like a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, our office hours are open from Monday to Thursday. That gives them all week to come pick up a permit and plan to go fishing on the days that it's available out there. It doesn't have to be that, I'm just throwing that out there for consideration, because if you want them to pick up a permit and the days that it's open is when their office is closed, you know, or they don't have time to prepare to do that, then it's gonna be a hang up there too, so.
To some extent, though, I think people are gonna have to.
If they
I
want to
like
go
it.
fishing, they would come in.
I guess I like the week because like I could take my kid out there before I go to work or something when there's not as many people too.
Yeah, it doesn't have
Just
to be the
being me,
weekend.
yeah.
It doesn't have to be the weekend, I mean.
Or after work. I mean, that's when all dedicated fishermen will be out there. We'll be out there.
That's right.
Do it Monday through Thursday when the office is open, and they can come in for it anytime when the office is open.
Domestic, when you say no domestic animals, I'm including dogs, cats, and that.
Yeah,
Don't want no dogs out there.
right.
Dogs have a tendency to see water and go.
Swimming, I would.
Is there a thought, David, did you have a thought, since this kind of was your brainchild, did you have a thought on what the number limit was gonna be to the permits at one time?
If we're going by weekly, that's, I don't know, it's hard to say, like how many people are gonna go out there at the same time? Bank's big as long as you don't go crazy on it.
Well, they're not gonna do much off the, probably off the reservoir dam.
Like if anything's start out with a dozen, then if it gets more than that, that's, you're gonna be pushing it past a dozen.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah,
It's just
you're
not
gonna be
that
close,
many.
and I honestly think even if you give out so many permits, certain people are gonna pull up there and look and see how many people are there, and then they'll either fish or they won't. It'll be just like if you go to the ponds or something,
If
you're
they're
gonna go
sitting
there.
in a hot spot, they ain't gonna stay there.
No, they're gonna move, so, I don't know.
One thing we probably are gonna have to do is push that concrete up that's stacked on Nucleus property that Burbridge has access to. And then I'm gonna have to talk to Chase and make sure that they don't, Chase does not want people out there. So we'll have to talk to him about not
Letting him
letting
know.
see fit that, yeah, that there's gonna be cars parked on that particular section of ground, so. And there's gonna be people out there, so.
Go ahead, Joseph.
If you have it up to a dozen people, and a dozen people show up, each in their cars, like where are they all parking? Are they parking at the water facility?
Nope.
Outside.
Outside the
road.
gate.
Outside the fence. No motorized vehicles on this property. Pretty soon people are parking all over the place.
Ride your bicycle.
Well, there's some room out there, but I mean, it's just.
Yeah.
There is,
Well, and that might be the next thing though, is like if, like even if start with less and see how the parking goes, and then after that, it's just.
And then,
I like a smaller number, just to test, and then we can increase the number. Like Paul was saying, I have to agree, if you start with a high number and then you decide, oh, we can't handle this, and we have to throw it back, it would be some very angry people.
I'm assuming this is gonna be open to basically any resident of the West End.
Yeah.
Is there anybody got any reason to limit this beyond? I don't.
As long as they're paying and have a fishing license.
and what is the fee? That's, I mean, it's been blank on all these
Yeah,
drafts,
I
so
don't-
what's everybody got in mind for that?
You're paying for a porta potty, so you got that cost in there, so gotta cover that.
And it's a fee for a week?
Well, and that's the other question I have is, where did the 7-day thing come from? So the fee and the length of time, to me, we need to have some more definite,
I think 7 day
Right.
stuff is so you can limit who's out there in case of anything. You're not pointing a finger at somebody that was out there 2 weeks ago.
okay,
And I probably just pulled that number out to put something in there.
off that other permit
Mhm.
samples, okay. And then what's the amount? Or just, I mean, what's everybody thinking, that's what I'm asking the question here.
I guess my
Depends on
thing,
how many permits you sell to pay for
that's
the
it, like
porta-potties.
even if you paid $10 for 7 days to go fish, it'd help, like Tim said, pay for a porta potty you out
And
there.
then if you're gonna have Brooke go out there periodically, there's that.
Yeah, we can try to at least cover some of our costs.
What was the porta potty cost a month again, remember?
I don't remember what it was a month, it was about $700 for like the season, which
Okay,
we're not gonna hit that this year because we're past the season. I think that was for like May, June, July, August, September.
So we're probably a little over $100 a
So-
month.
I think it's 98.
So if you can sell 10 licenses a month, you can pay for at least your porta potty.
I think it depends on how many times you have to change.
Yeah.
Cause I've been paying.
They only charge you when you
Well, you
pay.
never know which kids
Oh.
are out there.